All right, we are back. Time to carry on with this little Sambar engine. So the next thing I'm going to do on this engine is set my valve clearance. It should still be good from when I redid this head not that long ago. Like I've said earlier, I did not do anything on this head. I'm going to be rebuilding that head in another video, but this one I'm just going to check. So going over to the manual, basically what it's saying is to check the engine cold, and the intake is 6,007 inch and the exhaust is 8,007 inch. So I'm just going to use a simple feeler gauge, rotate the engine over to make sure that there's clearance on the valves, and yeah, just check it. I just loosely put the crank pulley on here so I can spin the engine over. All right, got that finished. They're all set. They actually, some were good, some needed adjusting. One thing I do when I do it is I actually put a little paint dot on each one when I'm finished, so you don't lose track of which ones you've done. Not too hard on a simple engine like this, but when you get some engines that got a lot of different valves, maybe 5 per cylinder, like some Volkswagens, it definitely helps to put a little mark to know which one's finished. A little thing, the little piece of advice is when you are tightening up the jam nut here to lock the adjustment in, make sure that this screw doesn't turn as you tighten up the nut. So what I do is I put a screwdriver in there and try to hold that position while you tighten that up, because if it turns the screw as you do it, you're going to lose your clearance. So the next thing we're going to do, I guess, is put the exhaust manifold on. I got a new gasket, shield, whatever you want to call it. I've actually painted the manifold just to clean it up. It's got that rust on it, so I kind of cleaned it up and put some flat black high temperature exhaust paint. So that'll be our next move. Okay, putting on the exhaust manifold. One thing, guys, I do, probably most people do, but goes without saying, I label all the nuts and bolts that I take off, put in a plastic bag. It's been quite a while since I've had this engine apart, so it's nice to have everything labeled so you know where it goes easily come time for reassembly. All right, those are done up. Torque those to 25 foot-pounds. I'm just going to tighten up my crank pulley here. And that should do that. The next thing we're going to do is put the flywheel on. Okay, time to put the flywheel on. First thing you got to do is put your intermediate plate. Well, that's what I call it, an intermediate plate. Goes between the transmission and the engine block. There's a different name for it, but it slips over the dowels on the block here, alignment dowels. 2 bolts hold it in place. And the flywheel. The flywheel can only go on one way. The bolt pattern is not symmetrical, so you can't get it wrong. That's it right there. So I'm going to put 1 bolt in just to hold it. What you want to do is use some Loctite on the bolts. Just put that one to hold it, and then the rest I will put Loctite on. those are going to get torqued to 32 foot-pounds. So what I do when I'm doing a flywheel, as you can see it's spinning, I'll just jam a screwdriver somewhere to hold it in place. Just got to figure out how I'm going to do that right here, right through the floss plug hole. Okay, that's the flywheel done. One thing to note with my flywheel compared to what yours might look like, unless yours is supercharged, there's actually a bushing in here. The input shaft on the transmission goes into the center of the flywheel. It actually is smaller than the flywheel, and the flywheel does not have a bushing in it. So that actually the input shaft of the transmission is not supported. Kind of strange. But I think the supercharged version has got a bushing. I got the guys at work to make me up a bushing, and I pressed that in last time I did a clutch job on this thing. So just a point of interest. All right, I got the pressure plate on and the clutch. These pressure plate bolts are tightened up to 7 foot-pounds. So the back end of the motor here is pretty much done. I got to put the water, there's a water pump housing or a coolant housing on here. And one thing to note, you want to center. I do not have a tool to align the splines. I actually put a bolt in there and use that as a guide and center it. Hopefully it works. I've done it that way before, and it went into the transmissions. But it can be that can be a problem for you if you don't have that tool. I think that's all there is for now. We're going to move on to the intake manifold side. All right, intake manifold. I've already cleaned up the surfaces for this. So we'll get a new gasket. Make sure the holes all line up. Very good. One of these has the lifting eye on it. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's this one. I do believe it's that one. Well, that's interesting. It appears I'm missing a bolt. So I'm going to have to search and find out where that bolt went. I'll remove this and use it as a sample, but I'll be back. All right, I found it. Just to note, all the bolts, there's 4 bolts on the block side, I guess you could say, of the manifold. They're longer than this one. This one here is a little bit shorter. So. Okay, next thing we'll do is put the valve cover on. Okay, this should be the last step in this engine assembly, really. Because they're new gasket for the valve cover. Pretty straightforward. Interesting. The gasket that I received doesn't have this curve on the end. What the heck? Why is my life so difficult? Hold on. Okay, slight change of plans. I'm going to reuse the old gasket. Normally I would never do that, but this rubber gasket is only about 2 months old because I rebuilt the head, as I stated earlier, and this was new back then. So worst case scenario, you pop the valve cover off down the road, get the proper gasket for it. It's, that's an easy thing to change. So to keep things rolling, that's what I'm going to do. So I've cleaned it up really good. It's still lots of, it's supple. It's not on hard or anything like that. So before you install that, you need to put a little bit of silicone in each corner of the cam covers here, because that is a corner that will leak. So you just put just a little gob in each corner, and the gasket will squish that out. Come on, see if you have a watch. There you go. Okay, that should be good. Now, under each bolt is an O-ring. So I got some new O-rings. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just put the head on. There's a little recess for the O-rings. So we'll slip this on here. O-ring will just slip inside the little spot in the head. And this will just hold it in place. Now this is tightened to, these bolts are tightened up to 60 inch-pounds or 5 foot-pounds, not a lot. All right, torque this to 60 inch-pounds. Just gonna go around and snug it up. And that pretty much does it. That is a rebuild of a Subaru Sambar engine. The next video that I'll do, I'm not too sure how I'm going to play it out. It's going to be basically putting the engine together with the transmission and putting it in the truck and buttoning everything up and starting it. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. You guys pulling an engine in and out of a vehicle can figure that out on your own. There's a couple of key points that I'll touch on, but for the most part, it's pretty, if you got the engine out this far, you're going to be able to do it the rest of the way yourself. So that's it. This will be the last video on this rebuild. I'll have another separate video on some other stuff with this little truck. But thanks a lot for following this series. I hope you learned something from it. Leave your comments, thoughts below. Subscribe, that'd be great. I'm approaching 100. That's pretty awesome. This little engine has got my little YouTube channel going. So thanks a lot, guys.